Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Scotch and Stocks. I am your host, Nestor Mendoza, and we just have a ton of time. Yeah, we can cut. Oh man, the UVIX is pumping, which is giving me 100% returns on those options. Oh. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Scotch and Stocks. I am your host, Nestor Mendoza, and we just have a ton of time. Yeah, we can cut. Oh man. Right. There we go. I'm glad nobody was watching that. My goodness, everybody. So Bitcoin is showing currently a little bit of weakness. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. All right, let's close that. I'm gonna do a live stream. I wasn't planning to do a live stream today, but I'm definitely doing a live stream because this is historic. Bitcoin hitting record highs while the whole market is coming down, risking off. Insanity. The pound is going up. Data just came out that when did that data come out? It should have come out at 1:30, right? Oh, well, look. So we had some data come out. We had U.S. factory orders that came out at 3 o'clock. It just came out 25 minutes ago. And that is throwing the market into a little bit of weakness, even though tomorrow we have Jerome Powell speaking, which will drive markets for sure. Insane, guys. Insane. But yeah, let us have a look. Let's have a look and let it slice a little bit. Turn that second. I need to turn it off. Now we're heading back and we're turning it back around. Let's do this. Now, Bitcoin sitting like it's the chart to watch, right? Like the chart to watch right now has to be Bitcoin, right? But at the same time, everything is showing weakness. The thing that's rallying today is the VIX, because we're getting that sell-off before Jerome Powell because everybody's leaning towards the fact that he's gonna be a little bit hawkish today, you know? Bam, let's go. Now, this is gonna definitely make Bitcoin jump up into the news cycle, which will drive some value. We can see that there was a little bit of euphoria right here. That was like January 13th when it comes to Bitcoin. Based on the 2020 rallies, we have seen some splurging, but I don't think we've seen that continuous rally up there. I think people are starting to notice and are starting to pay, which could potentially drive markets, right? We are touching, and the fact is that we potentially find a little bit of resistance on there, but it's likely that we break it. I mean, at this point, it's like, are we really in the FOMO rally when most of long-term holders are selling off, and it's like we still see the inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. Like right now, it's easy to move your portfolio into it, into Bitcoin. Like not all of it, but part of it for sure. Volatility is pumping. You know, oof, I'm getting hurt today. I am getting hurt today. Oh man. The Nasdaq coming off. It doesn't want it. It doesn't want to, but that's what. Let's have a look at something. So according to this, a bull flag is like we go up, we try to consolidate for a little bit, and then we rise again. And this is what people are saying we're probably gonna get in Bitcoin, at least for now. We have found a little bit of a top here. I think this is definitely a point of resistance, and the question is when do we break it? Now, could we break it soon? Not too sure. Something, bam. And the question is nice. Oh, market's turning red on me. Mara showing a ton of weakness. It's like we're sitting at all-time highs, and Mara's just like producing bitcoins at this rate, which like for some freaking reason it just tells me that it's like earnings are gonna be great coming in, right? But yet again, we're seeing Mara hit 23. It just makes me want to buy more. I mean, are we gonna get that euphoric rally into the earnings coming in April? Date for Arthur here. He's such a finicky stock to, that's the problem. So, where is First Solar showing strength today, which is nice. MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is 10% down today. Why? You see, I don't get this. How can you show this much like negativity based on it's like Bitcoin's still up on the day. Sanity. 67. No, the thing is, it's like if we're hawkish tomorrow, this is negative for the banks. If it's negative for the banks, it's good for Bitcoin. Like the miners are taking such a hit, but it's like one of the arguments that I heard is like the fact that we have ETFs, the miners are not going to be doing good, which I completely disagree with. Because it's like now we have a really strong buyer coming into the markets. It's like yeah, you sell it overall market, but like they still have to buy Bitcoin prices. So if people continue to invest and see inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs, something new search, now let's search. And you see, like I don't think we're still like based on Google Trends, we're still not in that phase of you. Yeah. But that's just one part of the data. I am getting so Mara down Mara down 8% on the day. Nvidia down 2% on the day. What's ARM sitting at right now? I gotta keep a close eye on ARM. As the more comes out, the better it does for me. Still down in my overall position. It would have been so good to buy a couple of days ago. We could see some weakness starting to form up in Mara. When is in ARM? My goodness. 69,000. We just touched on all-time highs. How is that not crazy? Post. Write a little post on Bitcoin. Bam. Oh no. And the question is, will we see it? Like right now, there's a lot of selling pressure. A lot. Now, what is insane? It is insane, boys and girls. You know, it's like, how can we not be talking about this? This is a big thing. If you look at the news right now, that's all everybody should be talking about. 67. Let's go into the 15. Into the 1 second. Let's see. 66. So we're jumping between 66 and 69. And it's moving so radically. And less volume into it. But all of a sudden you get bam, big buys. Bam, big buy. Oh, wow, wow. Historic moment. Historic moment. We touched 69 on the dot. That's so crazy. 69 on the dot. I wonder who bought it. You know, and it was like, how much? Let's go into the 1 second and find that. $69 right here. How much? What's the volume? It's like 13 Bitcoins get sold for 60K. Then you come right down. Like the whole market's selling off, which makes a lot of sense, but that Mara trade is. But we are at all-time highs. Let's turn on some here. We're getting. Oh wow. June expectations just came in higher. Did make. All right. So March guarantee we're not getting one. Surprised that it did. It has. With the data release that we got today, likely to. This factory order coming in lower than expected. today's gonna hurt. Today's gonna hurt. Tomorrow he can really do some damage. Um, I'm gonna get some food. Let's leave the chart happening here for now. Insane. Dude, theoretically, we have touched the 69. Some Bitcoin has been sold for 69. Now, can we hold? We're gonna be finding out today, but I think maybe today in the next couple of days we know. All right, all right. What is the time? Today is hurting so much. Today's hurting so much, guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. Big question is, do we touch it today? Right now we're selling off. Whole market selling off. If we look at Finviz, easy. Everything's selling off, right? Except for potentially like consumer defensives right now. Well, Target did really. That was a trade I wanted to do, but I didn't do. That Target trade would have been great. Banks are doing good. It's like, why? Like, is this a movement to safety before it's let? Oh. You guys want to see bleeding? Sure. I am bleeding hard right now. Oh man, everything hurts. It is going to be a negative day for sure. And then hopefully we find an exit on. God, 1050, that's $100. Wait a sec. Okay. Up. Oh, hopefully we get some volatility between today and tomorrow. The nice thing is Jerome is actually speaking later today. Spotify. Oh man. If you have any questions, sit them down in the chat and let me know. Glad to answer. Just an ugly market today. Let's have a look at the future. Yeah, the VIX right now is showing a lot of strength, which is good. You could see it. You could smell it. You know, as we were just reaching the highs and not breaking through. Nvidia was hitting highs, all-time highs. We had AMD breaking all-time highs. Bitcoin's breaking all-time highs. So risk assets are definitely on, but S&P is not coming down too hard, you know, which does tells you something. There's so many people. So many people streaming the Bitcoin current event. Makes sense. We're heading back to 68. My goodness, there's still weakness. We're finding some. Seems we're finding a 1507, but can we hold it?
Hey everyone, welcome back to another stock market live stream. We got some data coming out. Just about a minute here. We have a calendar that is actually, I'm sorry, that data is not going to come out in a minute. It's going to come out in actually more like an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, that's lame. I thought the global S&P services and the composite index would actually come out at 5:30. Wrong. It doesn't come out in a minute. It comes out at 6:45 California time, followed by factory orders, ISMs, coming out at 7 a.m. So maybe we'll go for 10 or 15 minutes longer so we can hit all that data. Tomorrow we'll get ADP, we'll get JOLTS, and then of course on Friday we'll get payrolls report. Now we do have Jerome Powell.
Like that's so crazy. We get jobs data and we get Jerome tomorrow.
Powell speaking tomorrow, which will come after the ADP report and the JOLTS report. That'll be interesting because I think he's going to have some insight, as he usually does, into what ended up happening with jobs. So think about it. If you get a JPOW that goes before Congress and he says, hey, I'm a little nervous. We've got to really balance in that dual mandate. We don't want to cause a joblessness recession. Well, then what you're going to have is a JPOW who is forecasting a weak jobs report. Remember the last inflation report? He had his FOMC meeting just before the last inflation report. And guess what ended up happening? We ended up in a situation where what? Oh, geez, no surprise. We had a hot beat, mostly because, as well expected, Jerome Powell probably has insight into these data sets before he goes to make himself a fool somewhere. The way empowering global software and AI applications. If you're a company needing these types of services, well, who are you going to think of first? NVIDIA. Huang highlighted the transformative potential of NVIDIA's technology, such as the Hopper H100 GPU and the Grace CPU superchip in facilitating this growth. The Hopper H100, described as a generational leap in GPU technology, promises up to 9x the at-scale training performance over its predecessor and 30x the large language model inference throughput. These advancements combined with the new Transformer engine are expected to significantly accelerate AI model training, reducing time from weeks to days without sacrificing accuracy. That's a big boost, folks. Weeks to days. Moreover, NVIDIA's focus extends beyond hardware to encompassing software innovations. The CEO emphasized how AI and accelerated computing have revolutionized software development and application, making AI a central element across various fields and industries. The introduction of platforms like NVIDIA AI Enterprise 2.0 underscores the company's commitment to providing comprehensive cloud, native AI, and data analytics.
We are showing strength every Twitter, you know. Some people are selling out of their positions. That's sure. So look at the trend. Wow, man. They're actually speaking. Let's have a look at what they...
Any importance in the market.
I think it just says we're early to me, right? I mean, if it becomes more mainstream, those numbers will be massively higher. To me, I mean, it's a bullish sentiment.
I think Zuck's got timepiece envy over there, and he's too busy looking at billion-dollar watches or whatever he's looking at. But Emmy's exactly right. You know, in the last
oil prices turned positive after falling by $1 a barrel earlier in the session.
So, like, interactions means upvotes, likes, anything across.
Like oil and the VIX is up today.
Twitter, Reddit,
Insane.
YouTube, and TikTok right now. Those four. So we don't actually grab Instagram and Facebook. Little bit more of a nuanced thing to do there. But 66% of the conversation is on Twitter. 25% of the conversations on Reddit. 7% of the conversations on YouTube, and 2.4% on TikTok.
Is that Bitcoin specific? Is that Bitcoin specific or crypto in general? Because I was actually going to ask you if TikTok. I would imagine they'd be much more inclined to talk about meme coins and altcoins and NFTs than Bitcoin itself.
Yeah, that's Bitcoin, and then something like Ethereum right now is 82%.
I wonder if there's
11% Reddit, 4% YouTube, and 2% TikTok. Now maybe I'll look up Bonk. Let's see where Bonk's at. Bonk's 99% X.
Seriously,
that's where the shilling happens, and that's where they're probably thinking. Even if you've got to go find some other like major shitcoin out there, I bet it's very similar because that's where it's easier to game. They know that the audience is there, and so that's where they're going to spend most of their time. So I don't know. Maybe it's
can I ask you? Sorry, I'm just really interested in how those metrics work. You and Emmy might have a better idea, but how can you compare X I still call it Twitter, to a YouTube, for example, because you may have a YouTube video that has a single mention of it, but that has hundreds of thousands of views, like Rand did a show on altcoins today, right? How does an altcoin mention catalog on Lunar Crush versus, thousands of people making comments with no engagement on an X?
So that's why we call it interactions. So it's views. So even views on Twitter, you can still call it Twitter. I literally can't call it X. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. But that's all the interactions. So views, engagements, likes, upvotes, likes on TikTok. So anything there.
I found that really interesting. I
This
found
is
that really,
ballsy.
really interesting.
Scott, I had a thought that I'd love to get Peter and Dave's comments on as it relates to price action. And yes, this is me being a pseudo co-host. But I bet options don't exist yet, but they're going to, and they're going to very soon. What is that going to look like? How is that going to affect price action when options are introduced on the IBIT BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF, or the same for Fidelity? I'd love to get an answer to that, or at least a shot at maybe what options are going to do for price action, because that's gonna that's just increased volume, right? That's increased trading volume on those products, and I'm interested to hear what those guys think.
I just saw Mooch. Hey, you joined. Anthony Scaramucci's here. We had you on for earlier. Great to have you. Did you hear that question by any chance? Because you probably have a great take on that.
Yeah, it was cutting in and out, but I'm pretty sure the question
Instagram
was
is
about what
down.
happens with the options. Is that correct?
We're getting a little bit
Yeah,
of a
what
bounce in
happens to
this
volume in
so
general?
P1.
so the volume is going to increase, and then if Michael Saylor and the Bitcoin bulls are correct, you're going to have massive buying, right? Because these guys have to continually hedge themselves with Bitcoin, and so you'll see a mass. This is the thing that Gary Gensler hated, okay, because listen to me, I think there's 6,400 people on this call. Gary Gensler does not want you guys to get rich. So everybody understand that? Okay, and so when you put the Bitcoin ETF into gear, you touched off a tidal wave of Wall Street activity. So the short answer to that question is this is going to lead to a mega increase in volume for Bitcoin, a lot more buying by the Wall Street community to hedge themselves, and it'll be a positive flywheel for Bitcoin. All of this stuff Gensler understands because he worked in derivatives in Goldman way back in the day. And this is what he did not want to unleash. He doesn't want you guys to get rich, okay? And by the way, his girlfriend, Elizabeth Warren, really doesn't want you guys to get rich, but she's scared shit right now because she's got John Deaton, who's a pro-Bitcoiner and helped on the Ripple case, running against her. And so a lot of us, Bob Hawkinson, others, myself, are maxing out on him, and I'll be doing a fundraiser for him here in New York. And frankly, if he wants me to, I'll be up in Massachusetts campaigning for him. But that's
Same.
the answer. That's the answer.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Just circling back, since we have you here now, what do you make of us hitting this all-time high sort of so quickly, this move to the upside that we've had? Are you surprised at all, or did you see this coming?
I don't think anybody honestly could see it coming. So I'm going to say that none of us saw it coming. But here's what I know about Wall Street, and you guys really have to pay attention because some of you are Bitcoiners and not tied into Wall Street. I've been on Wall Street for 36 years. Products are not bought on Wall Street, products are sold. Okay, so I just want you to imagine legions. This is tens of thousands of people now are being told by Larry Fink and Abigail Johnson that Bitcoin is acceptable. You can go and buy Bitcoin. You can go and scale into Bitcoin. You can put Bitcoin in a person's portfolio. About a year ago, Skybridge was in the pilot program for Fidelity, where we have allowed our employees to put Bitcoin in their IRAs. This is usually important because it was a pilot program at
US
Fidelity.
to sell
In the
$95
next
billion
year, it's going to
in
be rolled
4-week
out
bills on March
massively at
7th to settle
Fidelity.
on
So
March
I
12th.
don't think people fully understand the liquidity or the literally the tsunami of liquidity that's coming into this asset. And remember, if you think it's digital gold and I think it's digital gold and the Wall Street community thinks it's digital gold, well, they're more important than us because they'll make it digital gold by taking an asset right now that has $1 trillion in market capitalization and taking it to 7 to 10 trillion. And again, it's not going to happen overnight, guys, but that is the long-term case for this thing. And it's happening more quickly because there's just no supply, and they're getting this repetition of 4, 5, $600 million of demand daily.
And what stops that? Because we know that the supply, or at least new supply, is about to cut in half
Market
in a
crash.
few weeks.
Market crash would stop that. So if we have some type of event, God forbid, a terrorist attack, some kind of black swan event, complete escalation of the war in Ukraine spreads into something like Poland, God forbid, and you get a market crash, unforeseen circumstance, you'll shut the buying down, and then you'll see like a 15 to 20% drop in Bitcoin. You can't expect this asset to just go up on a 45-degree angle. I only know one asset that went up on a 45-degree angle. The person was capable of doing that for 30 years, and then they spent 150 years in jail. And of course, that was Bernie Madoff. He died in jail. So assets don't do that. But what this will do, in my opinion, is it will trade up. It will flatline for a little bit. It will trade up. The halving will accelerate the trade, and this will be a $200,000 to $250,000 asset before we know it. But it will be normalized by the media because the media will accept the digital gold narrative. And if gold is at a $14 trillion market cap, Bitcoin will look inexpensive at a $7 trillion market cap.
Yeah, I was speaking. I agree with that entirely. I was speaking more, I guess, specifically to the flows, right? Just the fact that it's sort of, these steady flows coming into the ETF, but of course, people can sell the ETF and those reverse just as quickly as they can sell Bitcoin, right?
All right. Well, remember something, guys. Okay, if I'm your, let's say I'm a BlackRock client, and I say, okay, guys, you got the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF approved. I want to buy Bitcoin. I'm not going to put in a $2 billion purchase. Okay, but I may say to BlackRock, listen, I want to scale into $2 billion of Bitcoin, and I want to do it over the next 5 weeks, even, or 4 weeks, or whatever it might be. So I think you have standing buy orders at Fidelity and BlackRock to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars, where people are saying to themselves, okay, I am legging in. I think sovereign wealth funds do not announce their positions, but I think it would be impossible not to believe that certain sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East now have some allocation to Bitcoin, either through these ETFs or by buying Bitcoin in the cash market. But what you're seeing right now is BlackRock, Fidelity, other Wall Streeters have lined up orders. And so these are going buy orders, sustainable long-term buy orders, unless you see something wreck this market. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And
Scott,
Joe, I
quick
know you're about
question
to
for
go ahead.
Anthony.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple of narratives going. Anthony, we've got, the ETFs, and then we have the halving, but it is Super Tuesday. The narrative after that could be, the election will start heating up. Who's better for Bitcoin, Donald Trump or Joe Biden?
All right, well, guys, people are pissed at me because I love Bitcoin and I hate Trump, right? So I'm like the dichotomy in the world. But I did read the Constitution, okay, and I did go to law school, and there are people on this call, okay, particularly the Wolf himself, who have had personal experience with these people, okay. These people are absolutely nuts, and you do not want him to return to the presidency. You're right now thinking, okay, he'll offer some deregulation. He's got no principles, and he's got Vivek in his ear telling him to loosen up on Bitcoin. He hated Bitcoin in 2018, 2019. He tweeted negatively about Bitcoin in 2018 and 2019. And so he really doesn't have an opinion one way or another, but there are people in general think, okay, Republican, less regulation. But this is not a garden variety Republican. This is a dangerous man with a very, very smart, well-disciplined team. His campaign team in 2024 is better than his 2020 team, and it's better than his 2016 team. And of course, I was on his 2016 team. But I'm going to leave you with this thought, okay? You had 39 people at the most senior level in the Trump administration, cabinet level, sub cabinet level people. Of the 39 people, you only have one, that's Ben Carson, endorsing him. Everybody else, my very close friend Mark Esper, under no circumstances would I vote for Donald Trump. The United States could take bad policy over a ruination of the institutions of our democracy. Okay, we got the guy on tape fomenting an insurrection at the Capitol. Okay, he's on tape. Mark Meadows, who's white, he's not a. I see the thumbs down. I love the thumbs down. Send in the thumbs down because when you hear him on tape premeditating the insurrection, and the white chief of staff, Mark Meadows, who's the chief witness for the prosecution, okay, it's not a Soros-sponsored DA, okay, but it's the chief witness for the prosecution is going after him, telling you what happened. If you still want this guy to be president, then I don't know. You got to get deprogrammed.
Put your hand on your
You're in
heart.
a cult.
Put your
What's
hand on
that?
your heart. Put your hand on your heart and tell me that you would prefer Joe Biden for another 4 years over Trump for another 4 years.
Rand, I would take weekend at Joe Biden's over One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest any single day of the week. Okay, and so yeah, my hand is my hand. You know
Joe
what? My
Biden
hand
over
is.
Trump.
I have
Joe
one
Biden
hand
over
on
Trump.
my heart, Nan.
Joe
I
Biden
now
is by far the most useless president that the U.S. has ever
I
had. I mean,
will
the
take
guy is
I will take useless over dangerous. And by the way, I got one hand on my heart and the other hand on my nuts. Okay, okay. And I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. You want
I think you're just bitter because of what happened between you and Trump.
the hell out of here.
I mean, come on,
Okay.
you
You know
can't
what?
even
You
compare.
know what?
Come on.
You can. Okay, so I'm bitter. The other 38 people that work for him are bitter. We're all bitter. I love my country, brother. I love my country. I know there's severe, very serious problems in this country that have to be fixed. It's not up to me to select these people. We got two 80-year-old people running, and I wish we had two 45 or two 50-year-old people running. Okay, but I love my country, and this country, okay, has made me who I am. It's a very flat, decentralized government. Donald Trump does not want a flat, decentralized government. So you guys can give me the thumbs down, but I've been on the inside. I've seen the insanity of it, and I actually know how dangerous it is. And I will take the rule of law and beating the Biden administration in court all day to the potential loss of that and the potential loss of these great institutions that have helped every single person that's American on this call get rich, get successful, and live an aspirational life in America. So send in some.
Wow, Bitcoin dumping hard. If Bitcoin is dumping hard, everything should. 65. Second. Oh my god. Mm. What are current liquidations at? Not that many liquidations. Seems healthy. Ooh, this hurts. But it's understandable that we see some weak. Like, sorry, into the old time high. You know? I don't see it as a big deal. Now the question is, can we get back to it? So far on the daily, like there is a lot of movement, but there was a lot of buying too. Tomorrow we're gonna see volatility for sure. Hold until tomorrow, the open. That pays. Our trade is hurting. Girls. Are we getting the bad news means bad news story? At 65. Insane. I want to still get another pump, but
According to Interfax, Putin says that OPEC Plus sets the task to achieve price stability in the oil market and not to raise prices.
Buy more up. Question is, ay, verga. Oh man, Bitcoin continues to show strength. We have to make a lot of ground. There's been a lot of Bitcoins being sold. It's understandable that the market's going nuts. You have to throw in some. Nvidia up. Is Nvidia up? Oh, Nvidia. What's up? Va buen verguero. Por ejemplo, All right, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'm gonna go do some work. Peace out. Thanks so much. I will keep you posted. I'll probably be streaming, but that sucks.